Now that we've cleared that up. Moving to Jamestown.
That was an off camera debate. But we got there.
This nostalgia is moving to Jamestown, part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Part
Part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2. Part D.
Part D.
Part D. And so we had no place to get into. He didn't know the landlord's number.
And apparently this is me, what I do.
So he used the company he worked for. He used the company account to get us a room at the Red Roof Inn. So we just stayed there, and we got pizza and whatnot. But we moved in that day. We got everything set up pretty quickly. We didn't have too much stuff. And it was weird. We cleaned a lot. The place was a mess. And I think we moved in early without our landlord knowing. The place was just a disaster. And this is before, like, my super, like, need to clean. And I cleaned the shit out of it. And basically we just went out that night thinking we're big-time Pittsburghers. And we actually got into a fight our second night ever in Jamestown.
Want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, we can do that. How are we doing for time?
We're fine, minute and a half in.
Okay. The second night ever in Jamestown, we went to a place called the Rusty Nail, which is like the notorious like early 20s bar. That's where just everyone goes. We just asked where does everyone go. They said the Rusty Nail, and it was supposed to be a sports bar, but it was just like a junk bar basically. I guess to have pool tables, you get a sports bar moniker if you have a pool table. But we were really hammered, and it was at the time my roommate Jay was making pretty good money for a kid that age. He was making like a G a week.
That's good money for anyone.
Yeah. And so he was just double fisting Captain and Cokes. He had 2 Captain and Cokes the whole time. We thought we were all awesome Pittsburghers, and everyone else was below us. And he got like, just like next level hammered, like blackout. You just saw that face that there's nothing going on. So, alcohol. Captain Morgan was in his head with a big, with a steering wheel, like, ha ha, it's my turn now.
Was he like, it drives me nuts?
You don't get to make any good decisions for the rest of the night. And I was chatting up everybody, and one of the bouncers came up to me. And first he said, you can't leave your drink on the dance floor, which there's like I was just hanging out and I was talking to someone and I just put my drink up there and he was being an asshole. He goes, second of all, your buddy's in the bathroom. He's throwing up everywhere. I said, oh man, I'm sorry. And I was hammered enough. I was like, do you want me to help clean it up? Like, that's just how I am. Considerate young man. And they said, no, you got to get him out of here. And I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, where do you want me to put this other drink? Because I wasn't allowed to put it on the stage. And by the time I turned around to grab it, they were fighting him. There's 2 bouncers on my roommate Jay. So I jumped in and I tried to pull one off. And he went back. He was like trying to restrain him a bit. And the guy went back and he hit me in the head with his elbow. And it was kind of accidental. So for whatever reason, the only thing I thought to do was just headbutt it. So I headbutted him right in the head as hard as I could. And both of us were just stunned. It wasn't a good idea. If you ever get into a fight, don't headbutt unless you're pretty confident it's going to end the fight, because it just makes everyone miserable. And so we get thrown outside, and his glasses are off. He lost his cell phone, his jacket. I think he had like 1 shoe on. So the bouncer's trying to get at him because he thought Jay headbutted him, and they're barking at each other through the door, and I'm trying to intermediate, and I had my body up against the door, and the bouncer kicked the door, and the back of the door, boom, hit me right in the back of the head and cut me open. And the cops were coming, so I was like, let's just go, the cops are coming, and my head hurt like front and back from the headbutt and the door. So we walk back, and there's like this closed down business, and he goes, this is fucking bullshit, my friend Jay. And he punched the door, and it was one of those glass security doors with the metal mesh in them. Just cut his hand open with something nasty. It looked like a shark bit him. And we were just bitching and just all pumped up from adrenaline from fighting. And we actually called the cops on them once we got home. We were fucking hammered. And we called the cops on the bar. And they came up and they took a statement. And we were just like, there's blood everywhere. We were just hammered. I think at one point I actually put the beer can on top of the cop car to talk to him. Like, I didn't stop drinking. It was just a bad situation. And then I went down the next day because no matter what he says, he was scared to go back down there. I went down there the next day to go get his glasses and his phone. And I tried to apologize, and the owner wasn't there, and he only heard about it, but he says fights happen all the time, and he goes, it's best just to stay out of here for a while, and it was pretty much fine. But I'll end the story on this, is when I was walking back, and I walked a lot of places just like I kind of do now if I don't have to, you could see a trail of blood from our house, basically, from that's how bad his hand was bleeding, all the way down to the bar, and where the door is smashed. So that was my moving to Jamestown. It started
That's the end of part 2.
Yeah, good foot.
Good foot.
Good foot.